if you if you've ever fallen in love, you know that when you first fall in love with somebody, all you want to do is be around them all the time. You can't get enough of them. You just want more and more and more and more. And that's because the dopamine, like, reward center of the brain is like, yes, this, yes, this, yes, this, yes, this. And there's also the oxytocin, the bonding, and all of these different pieces specifically happening in the highly addictive centers of the brain. And so if you think about a woman who has been pushed away from a man by a closed heart. Now, they may be physically present, but the emotional connection is something that she's very sensitive to. And so a lack of that connection is going to make her start to act not like a normal, rational human being, but like an addict. Like an addict trying to get more, like an addict trying to do something, like an addict who's going through withdrawal. And the trouble with this is that we put the power of that feeling, that love feeling, that like in love feeling, as the only way and the only person that we can get this from is our romantic partner. This puts our partner under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress to be a certain way towards us and to act a certain way towards us in order to actually get that feeling. This is a massive problem from the get-go in terms of looking at how do we nurture love relationships and how do we actually get that feeling. Because as women, we want to be open, we want to be loved, seen, heard, cherished, transcendental in our orgasms, all of these things. And when our man's not cooperating, we often want to lash out at him because we think that that's the only way that we can get there. Now, the beautiful thing is that that's not the only way that we can get there. And it's a shame because our current society has said, you know, the only place you can get cuddles, touch, comfort, for the most part, the cultural norm is that the only place that happens is really within a romantic relationship, the level of intimate bonding. But there's lots of studies and lots of books that show that actually the natural human tendency is to form large social groups with sort of a more intermingled sexuality or sensuality. It doesn't always be sexual, right? It's super important. And a sexualized but desexualized culture that, like the one that we live in, wants you to believe that the only way that you can get a sexual intimate connection is by being physically sexually intimate, which is not true. You can get the feeling of sex, the feeling of a really spectacular first kiss, or like the best lovemaking you've ever had, can be very similar in your body. Similar, right? Not exactly the same, but similar. That like breathless, full connection, like heart open, body open, like full yes, right? We can find that in places other than a love relationship, and especially when we're nurturing connection and feeling with other people. This is something that's really true and possible for us. But before we can really experience it fully with other people, one of the things, and before we can really be free of this external search for that feeling, what we need to do is come and find that space and that center within ourselves. Now, a lot of people find that space within romantic relationships, obviously one. A really close friendship is another. People find that sense of relaxation and release within alcohol, within other drugs, within sugar and food addictions, other things that activate that center of the brain. You think about the man scorned by his woman, he goes to the bar and drinks. It's because the opioid pathways are related to the alcohol system, and that's part of why it's so addictive. And so literally he is going and getting the fix that he wants, even though it's not through healthy ways, such as human connection. So the beautiful thing is that we can actually learn how to harness our brain to create a different relationship with what's going on and to feel the way that we want to feel. Because it truly, at the end of the day, is just brain pathways firing. And we can show through a simple example of thinking about a lemon. If you imagine putting a lemon in your mouth and like what it would taste like, what it would feel like, how your body would react. You can see how your body physiologically reacts. And so we can do the same thing with creating love feelings, joyful feelings, any feeling we want, really. It's just that we're not practiced, and the cultural norms have told us that it's not okay to feel something, that we always have to look outside of ourselves for that validation. It's no longer true, and we are calling people around the world to come and really claim this, really step into a level of mastery where they are able to say, this is how I want to feel, and this is how I want to feel now, and so I'm going to do something to take care of that and to feel that way. And no, I don't mean masturbation, although it's a form of goodness.